Around 1970, psychologist Walter Mischel launched a classic experiment. He left 4-year-olds one at a time in a room with a bell and a marshmallow. If they rang the bell, he would come back immediately and they could eat the marshmallow. If, however, they did not ring the bell and want for him come back in his own time, they could then have 2 marshmallows. In videos of the experiment, you can see the children squirming, kicking, hiding their eyes, desperately trying to exercise self-control so they can wait and get 2 marshmallows. Their performance varied widely. Some broke down and rang the bell within a minute, others lasted 15 minutes. The children who waited longer got into better colleges and had, on average, more successful lives as adults. The children who rang the bell quickest were more likely to become bullies. They received worse teacher and parental evaluations 10 years later. They were also more likely to have drug problems at age 32. The Mischel experiments are worth noting because people in the policy world spend a great deal of time thinking about how to improve the quality of education, how to reduce poverty, and how to make the most of human capital. Yet when policymakers address these problems, they come up with structural remedies. Reducing class sizes, creating more charter schools, increasing teacher pay, and providing universal daycare are often adopted as solutions. The results of these structural reforms are almost always disappointingly modest. Yet the Mischel experiments, along with everyday experience, tell us that self-control is essential. Young people who are patient and can delay gratification can sit through sometimes boring classes to get a degree. They can perform repetitive tasks in order to, say, master a language. They can avoid drugs and alcohol. For people without self-control skills, however, school is a series of failed challenges. No wonder they drop out. Life is a parade of foolish decisions. Teenage pregnancy, drug use, gambling, truancy, and crime. If you are a policymaker and you are not talking about core psychological traits such as delayed gratification skills, then you are just avoiding a fundamental issue. The research we do have on delayed gratification tells us that differences in self-control skills are deeply rooted but can be changed. Differences in the ability to focus attention and exercise control emerge very early, perhaps as soon as 9 months. But there is no consensus on how much of the ability to exercise self-control is hereditary and how much is environmental. The ability to delay gratification, like most skills, depends upon socioeconomic status and parenting styles. Children from poorer homes do much worse on delayed gratification tests than children from middle-class homes. That is probably because children from poorer homes are more likely to have their lives disrupted by marital breakdown, violence, moving, etc. They think in the short term because there is no predictable long term. The good news is that while differences in the ability to delay gratification emerge early and persist, that ability can be improved with conscious effort. Moral lectures do not work. Sheer willpower does not seem to work either. The children who resisted eating the marshmallow did not stare directly at it and exercise iron discipline. On the contrary, they were able to resist their appetites because they were able to think about other things. What works is creating stable, predictable environments for children in which good behavior and practice pay off. Young people who are given a series of tests that demand self-control get better at it. This pattern would be too obvious to mention if it were not so largely ignored by educators and policymakers. Somehow we have entered a world in which we focus mainly on structural reforms and standardized tests, but largely overlook the moral and psychological traits that are at the heart of actual success. Mischel tried to interest New York schools in programs based on his research. However, needless to say, he found almost no takers.